this kind of weather is obviously having a major effect on the athletes.
Yeah, a lot of people saw that last night in the half pipe, but we want to talk about Nick Goepper. He is the team's U.S. best chance for gold in slopestyle skiing, and Kaylin Richardson got a chance to catch up with him.
So how does a kid who doesn't come from one of the usual winter sports hotspots end up a champion slopestyle skier? The kid is Nick Goepper, who at age 5 first hit the slopes in southeast Indiana.
I grew up skiing man-made snow at this little mountain, 5 minutes from my house. It was like 300 feet tall, and past 6 o'clock in the evening, it just got bulletproof ice. So I'd say I'm kind of used to it.
Now 19, Nick's experience in those challenging hometown conditions help him adapt to whatever the weather brings.
If bad weather rolls in or any bad circumstances, if you automatically make that your friend, then I think you're doing better than everybody else.
If there is a lot of wind on competition day, will you change and try to be creative in different ways?
Yeah, I don't think wind's going to be a factor anyways because we're so protected in this region. But anyways, you go faster off the jumps if you're going forwards. So if the wind is slowing you down, you might want to change your run up a bit and do more forward skiing than backward skiing.
Nick's ability to embrace the weather, good or bad, has him rising up the ranks, making him a favorite for gold in Thursday's slopestyle competition. As far as sharing his trick strategy, no dice.
I'm still kind of strategizing my run right now, and I don't think I'm going to spill the beans quite yet.
But he did hint at something new, weather permitting.
Is there a grab like this?
Yeah, that's called the Weather Channel grab.
Kaylin Richardson for the Weather Channel.
New trick, the Weather Channel grab. Kaylin Richardson.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Let's talk about our Winter Games expert, Kaylin Richardson. She is a 2-time Olympian. She did the downhill event there. She was an Alpine skier. So what better way to show off the snow here in Sochi than putting her on some skis and getting her down the slopes?
Even before the Olympics came to Sochi, this area has been a favorite ski destination in Russia. And here it is, another Bluebird day, and I couldn't resist anymore. Who better to join me on the slopes than my good friend and 3-time Olympic alpine skier, Stephen Nyman.
How's it going, Kaylin?
I'm having a great day. I'm ready to hit the slopes. Well, it's perfect springtime conditions, so let's go hit that slush and make some turns.
Sounds good.
With more than 7,000 feet of vertical slopes, the region surrounding Rosa Couture includes some of the biggest lift-served mountains in the world.
Look at that view! Oh my gosh!
The weather here makes for dynamic, constantly changing ski conditions. Temperatures drop below freezing overnight, and the slopes ice over, making for fast, intense alpine conditions.
It's like butter, baby. It's like butter.
Really fun.
But by day, the sun bakes the snow, turning the surface into slush.
I had no idea that there was such fantastic skiing in Russia.
That was so fun. The vertical rise of this mountain provides cold, light snow up top and almost spring-like conditions down bottom.
And I have to say that I haven't raced in 4 years, but I think I still got it.
Kaylin, you're still great. You rip.
A rip!
Rest time!
Love that guy. He finished 27th in the men's downhill at the games. And Mike and Marie, even all the dudes here, they're saying, look, that's a good looking piece of man right there.
All right. Why not take in all the scenery, Mike? Take it all in.
We are right on the Black Sea, so we're at sea level down here, what they're calling the coastal cluster. But if you go 30 miles into the mountains, that's where you find the mountain cluster. So what do the menus look like there? Well, our correspondent, Kaylin Richardson, gives us a look.
Just 30 short miles from Sochi, whether by car, bus, or train, you arrive at the hub of the mountain cluster, Krasnaya Polyana, gateway to the 5 mountain venues.
At 2,000 feet, the Ruski Gorky Jumping Center is the lowest and warmest site in the game's history to host biathlon and ski jumping. Speaking of history, this is where women's ski jumping is making their Olympic debut. We've moved up the mountain to the Rosa Couture Extreme Park, which hosts the most varied of sports, with snowboard cross, ski cross, aerials, moguls, parallel giant slalom, and both ski and snowboard half-pipe and slopestyle. The Sankey Sliding Center is where bobsled, skeleton, and luge take place. It has the longest cool track in the world, using technology to ensure that sliders have hard, smooth ice as they hit 90 miles per hour. At almost 5,000 feet, the Laura Cross Country Ski and Biathlon Complex is a winter wonderland, but it is one of the most demanding courses that these athletes have ever seen. With a 200-foot ascent, It is 5 minutes longer than a regular World Cup, so it's all about endurance. This is the bottom of the Goepper Alpine Center, home of all the ski racing disciplines and the venue that covers the most distance. The men's downhill has a vertical drop of over 3,500 feet on a track that runs over 2 miles long.
I want to introduce everyone to our newest family member. This is Kaylin Richardson. She is a two-time Olympian and an Alpine skier. That's where they go really fast down the mountain. And you are going to be our correspondent on what's happening in the mountains and the snow there.
Exactly, and snow is a huge story, and we're going to find out more right now. Snow in the States can turn a good day bad. But here in Sochi, the snow and its quality can be the difference between winning and losing.
If we face problems with the warm weather, it will be below 1,400 meters. Above that, I think it's easy.
Mikko Martikainen, Sochi's snow manager, is considered one of the top snowmaking experts in the world. Just 8 months ago, he boldly promised our Jim Cantori these Olympics would have world-class snow conditions.
We have a good snow team, we're gonna do it.
The proof of that promise will come when competition begins this weekend. And even though officials can't control Mother Nature, cutting-edge technology helps give them the upper hand.
Roughly 500 guns. And in December it was colder than average and they started to make snow.
In addition, more than 16 million cubic feet of snow was stored under thermal blankets. But the backbone of Martikainen's plan relies on snow guns and artificial snowmaking systems, which account for nearly 75% of the snow you'll see in the Alpine venues.
We have first ever in the Winter Olympics a system we can make snow even in sauna. So ordinary snowmaking, you need freezing temperature from the nature, but of course you can create also freezing temperatures, like your fridge at home.
The start gate for Alpine skiing's downhill is over 6,000 feet above sea level, with plenty of snow. The ski jump, the lowest ever in Olympic history, at about 2,000 feet, could experience rain and temperatures warm enough to cause problems.
Many is asking if I'm nervous. No, I'm not nervous at all.
As Mikko says, there should be no problems, but you never know, and you just got to keep our fingers crossed.
Our Winter Olympics expert Kaylin Richardson caught up with the team to find out why.
With speeds up to 90 miles per hour, with your chin an inch from the ice, skeleton is all about accuracy. The men and women compete in 3 consecutive days, and the forecast said temperatures are going to gradually get warmer and warmer. But with a refrigerated track, that will minimize the effects, but it will still be a factor. As temperatures climb, skeleton athletes scramble to adapt to the constantly changing ice conditions at the Sankey Sliding Center.
It's kind of wreaking havoc with our equipment setup, so we're always trying to find something new, something different, because what goes fast on cold won't go fast on warm ice.
That's why I've been using 2 sets of runners and switching them each heat just to play around to see what works better with the air temps and the humidity on the ice.
And that choice of runners can mean everything, with some models performing well in warm weather but poorly in colder weather.
So the softer the ice is, you want to have a runner that won't dig as much, because as you dig into the ice, you're slowing yourself down.
And even though training runs have taken place during relatively warm conditions, the fickle Sochi weather still makes selecting the competition day setup a gamble.
We are on the fastest possible runner we have, and we're just trying to control it now, and I think it's working out well. So the warmer it gets, the better. If it gets a little bit colder, it might bite us a little bit, but I mean, it's kind of a medal or nothing right now, so that we're using the weather to our advantage.
But despite the tough choices with runners, the track itself is holding up better than advertised.
They've put so much money and time into engineering something that could withstand changes in temperature. We expected coming here racing in 50 or 60 degree weather. We haven't been disappointed, so I'm actually very impressed with what they've done.
Helping these athletes focus more on racing and less on the weather.
As long as it's not too humid, it should be okay. Be good race, good hair day, so be solid.
Kaylin Richardson for the Weather Channel.
The unsung heroes with one goal: to get their athletes down their course faster than anyone else.
He's not just a ski technician. Aaron Haffey is a wax whisperer.
Wax, scrape, and brush.
My wax tech from when I was on the U.S. team. Haffey now works with Norway's Leif Christian Haugen.
Leif pretty much likes his skis to be set up the same every day. we do micro adjustments with it, maybe just a little bit on the tip and tail, just so he doesn't have too much or not enough grip.
The key is in the ski base structure. That's where the rubber meets the road.
Well, the structure, it kind of breaks up the suction with the snow. As the friction happens with the snow and the ski base, it creates water and then kind of acts like a tire tread, it gets that water out of there and helps with acceleration.
Then it's all about the edges.
For the most part, these guys like their edges pretty sharp compared to the normal, ski that your average skier is going to go out on. We're running pretty high bevels on them and pretty clean tip to tail.
And whether it's cross country or alpine, it's the behind the scenes work of ski technicians like Aaron Haffey that win races.
Lastly, what did you do special for my skis? I mean, it's been a little while, but let's go back, think back a couple years on what was it that you did special for me, Half?
Oh, boy, it's tough to say. I pretty much have tried to give all my athletes the same amount of work. You had a pretty neat little logo on your skis, the old Metallica Kaylin logo, or the Cadillac. But yeah, that's a tough one to answer.
Kaylin says that her best years with the U.S. ski team is when he was her technician. Back to you.
As women's ski jumping makes its long-awaited Olympic debut today, it takes place at one of the lowest elevation jumping venues in history. And the denser air just might give Team USA an advantage.
Training in Park City, we're at really high elevation, so we get used to that thin air, and it's really hard to ski jump there. So coming here, these first jumps felt really good, and I love jumping at lower elevations, and it's easier to fly.
The Ruski-Gorki jumping complex is designed to keep wind from becoming a major factor. But weather in the mountain cluster changes quickly, even from jump to jump. To keep the scoring fair, a wind compensation rule factors in tailwind and headwind.
They give you compensation points based on what the air is doing. So if you have wind coming up the hill, they deduct points because it's an advantage. And if you have tailwind or wind coming from behind you, they give you points because it's a disadvantage.
Warmer than normal temperatures also make this a unique venue.
It's perfect conditions, no wind, sun's out, but the hill's cold, so the snow's just fine, and I love it personally.
But whether it's cold, warm, snowing, raining, or sunny, ski jumpers take the weather in stride.
The weather doesn't play too much a factor in it at this point. They have a cooling system, they have snow, and ski jumping is pretty easy like that. We don't need too much, but I want to go skiing. Do you want to go skiing?
I definitely want to go skiing.
Kaylin Richardson for the Weather Channel.
Snowboard Cross is one of the most exciting Olympic events. With 6 riders abreast, there are tons of variables out of their control. Warm temperatures and deteriorating snow conditions are 2 of the largest factors.
So much fun.
The rough and tumble athletes of Snowboard Cross battle each other and a constantly changing course.
You get a lot of bumps and ruts that form, and the softer the snow, the deeper those get.
You're going to have to make fine-tuned adjustments off of the lips of the jumps and be able to get out of the air, and it's going to be interesting. Definitely.
Even more interesting is a competition day stretching across several hours with multiple runs guaranteed to deteriorate the track. If that isn't enough, now add in the NASCAR mindset of 6 physical racers, all fighting for the best line.
So if we were going in a turn right now, is this okay? Can I do this?
You can't actually push somebody. You're not allowed to extend any body part, and you're not allowed to pull any body part. But we call it rubbing racing. And going through some of the corners where there's one line that's the fastest, you definitely see people leaning.
That's when the course quality really comes into play.
It's the rider's responsibility, again, to make those adjustments.
You can't predict anything. Everything's going to be crazy coming down. It's going to be chaos, people slamming into you, and you're going to be going as fast as you can.
Fast, in the cool, hip look we've come to know snowboarders for, not the ultra aerodynamic speed suits alpine racers wear.
We really want to keep the spirit of our sport freestyle. We want our stuff to fit relaxed and definitely keep it in the spirit of snowboarding, keep the soul of our sport around.
Cross country is all about endurance and strength, not only physically, but mentally. Because with the ever-changing weather, their race preparation changes daily.
Weather in the mountain venues can change from this to this in just days, sometimes hours. But cross-country skiers just keep rolling along with Mother Nature's punches.
I don't know of any other sport where they never, we're outside in the elements and it's never canceled.
It's not just visibility, but snow. And here, it goes from boilerplate hard to soft and slushy, and back again, making ski selection critical.
We do keep an eye on what the temperature is doing, what the humidity is doing, because that plays into how the skis end up running.
Because if it's soft, then you want something that's going to be easy to climb with, but also fast on the downhill when it's maybe a little bit more firm.
Not to mention the all-important wax combination.
As the weather changes, we test all those skis with our wax techs and come up with the best combination for race day.
The fast-changing conditions can even make staying physically healthy a challenge.
I've already pushed myself to the point of barfing twice this week, so as you do that, it can really wear down your immune system.
As far as perfect conditions on competition day,
Hard packed powder, packed fresh snow where it's maybe 20 to 25 degrees and the snow's been compact and groomed pretty firm. For us, that's kind of our dream condition for most cross-country skiers.
Everyone has their favorite conditions, but you just kind of have to be ready for anything here.